Hello, today we're going to take a look at Compass software and we're going to talk about how you would create a page set with a smaller grid size, a 2-button or a 4-button grid or even a 6-button grid for your users who need a more simplified vocabulary to start out or just plain larger buttons due to some fine motor issues. So in order to do this, the best page set to start in is the Masterpage page set. And what we're essentially going to do is create our own subset of the master page that will overlay all of this typical layout that you would normally see. To do this, what we're going to do is go into our settings, and then we're going to go to Page Creator. In Page Creator, there's a file here to select simple grids, and it gives you a couple basic templates. For this one, we're going to select a 4-button grid. I'm going to say I want to create it. I'm going to give this a name. I want this page to be my new home page, so I'm going to call it that. Just to make sure, I'll put 4-grid home page on there. Let's say I'm done, and then it's going to take me to my page editor. If you've ever worked in the editor, you can select the button that you want to edit, and by clicking on this red dot, it will bring up your edit menu where you can change what it is that you want this button to do. So I'm going to say that on this home page, I'm making a category. And this category we're going to say is food. Let's select a symbol from that. Here's a good one there. And right now it says that the action this button is going to do is speak a message. We're going to end up changing that in just a little bit, but for now just leave that action the way it is. So now I've got a button that when I select it, it's just going to say food. And I can't actually demonstrate that until we get out of the editor, but just to give us an idea, let's do one more button here. I'm going to make this one a next button so that if I have more vocabulary that I want to utilize, more categories than these 3 that would be available on my home page. Let's say I made one that was food and family and pets over here. But let's say I wanted more categories than that. This next button is going to let me go to another page that would have more categories available. Real quick, let's just do those few that we just discussed. Select our family. And let's come over here and make this one pets. There we go. Let's go with that guy. Okay, so now we have 3 basic categories and a next button. What I need to do is come over and make sure that I save this file. It should be good if I exit out. It'll ask if we want to save our changes. We'll say yes. And it's going to take me to this button. You'll notice that now I don't have a home button to go back into that master page set. I'm stuck, and right now all of these buttons, all they're going to do is speak the word that's on them. So when you're making one of these smaller grids, you have to think about kind of what the Tobii Dynavox computer programmers did when they were making their topics, which is that they essentially had to think through how everything was going to flow together. Where was each button going to take you to? And it's always a good idea to write out a basic flow chart so you have an idea of what categories you want and what's going to be in those categories. And keep in mind that each of those categories will likely have just the same number of buttons available, and chances are this one over here is always going to be a navigation button, either to go somewhere new, like a next button, or a home button so you can get back out of it and find your other categories if needed. Right now, what I'm going to do, now that I know what my page looks like, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create another page. Also a simple grid. Let's create this one. And on this one, I'm going to put our 4-grid food category. And it's going to come up with a blank one. Now I'm going to use this as my navigation button. So again, I'm now going to make this a home button so that I can give it the action to go back to the home page. Let's go right here. Now I'm going to give this one a label. Let's say we like to have Cheetos. And I don't know if we have Cheetos. We may have cheese puffs. Let's see what comes up with cheese. There you go. Cheese curls there will work. And then let's say I like to have some fruit. And over on this one, we'll hurry and make it something to drink. There we go. All right. So now what I need to do while I'm here is change some of these actions that are available. Essentially on this home page. Now the first thing I need to do is click on my actions, and it's going to take you into the script editor where it'll tell you what action is currently being used. Right now it's speak message. And what I want it to do is I want it to open something. You'll notice that down here it shows some of the more common things. But if I type up here in the search window the word open, then it will show me all of the open options. So I could say open home page. All right, now I'm going to select done. So now, if I exit out here, save my changes. Now if I click on this home page, it's going to take me to the master page home page. Here. And we don't necessarily want it to do that unless you want to create a different grid layout for your home page, something that's larger like this. So what I'm going to do instead is now I have to find where those pages that I made are hiding. So in my settings, I can go into my page browser, and you'll see down here at the bottom are any of the pages that you've created. So I've got my 4-grid home page and my 4-grid food page. I can click right on this one and say I want to edit it. And I'm going to change this action on the food button so that it now opens a page. Let's see, where's my open page? And it will let me come in here and select which page. And I want it to go to my food grid. So now, if I exit back out and save my changes, if I click on food, it will now go into my food page. Now, this home button right now doesn't do us much good because it goes back to our 3x3 grid page. So what I'm going to do now is go into my settings, and in the interface, I can select a new home page right here at the top. So I'm going to browse for one, and I'm going to select this as my new home page. There we go. I'm going to say we're done here. If we go back, now if I hit the home button, this would be my new home page that comes up. So you would essentially do this with any of these icons or categories that you create. Sometimes it's easier if you find a way to make these categories a different color or something that helps people to identify that they're a little bit different than the buttons that just speak something. And you can do that by going into the Style button and changing the shape of it a little bit, or changing the color. In this case, I think I'll make them green, just so we have an idea that these do something a little bit different than our typical speech buttons. Let's come back here. There we go. And our next button here, I think we will make a slightly different color as well. And we'll just say that our next button, maybe we want to make that one a nice purple color. All right, just so we have an idea of how everything would work together. So we would have to create each page that we want by going into your settings and page creator, going into simple grids. You also have the option of clicking, once you've created a page that you like, a like page, and then I could select this 4-grid food page, give it a new name. We could give it our pet's name if we wanted to. I'm going to call it 4-grid pets. And it will bring the same page up that I can now modify however I need. Let's do one more here. Let's do it on, change our fruit one out. All right, so now we would have a pets page available that I would then have to link, doing the same function we did before, going back to our home page, finding the pets, and I can just modify it and change the action that I want it to do. There's my open page there, and I can now go to the pets page. And there we have it. Swap those out to be whatever I want and essentially create my own miniature version of the Masterpage page set that gives somebody some basic navigation. And there you have it. Thanks for watching and have a great day.